Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Coliseum. This time we are spectating Agur, and this is a
Yo,
pretty important cage match, so to say. Which match is this? Give us some context here.
it's the LGP, I think it's 14 finals against me
Hmm.
versus Chad. CTheTree, this guy's awesome. And we'll see all the mistakes I made against him tonight.
All right, we're not going to spoil anything too far. But let's just say there's some good plays, and let's just say there's some bad plays or misplays.
Yeah,
Perhaps is a good way to say
yeah,
it. All right, so we have this going at 2 times speed, but it's a pretty long
yeah.
game, so I think it'll be fine. So
It was
you're
good.
playing your
So,
newspaper deck, which is a nativity offense with a gray sort of defense, right?
Gray Black, yeah. Trying to leverage both the Priest of Zeus and Philistine package. So, uh, I lost the die roll. Or, wait, I won the die roll. And he had no souls. I had a pretty good opening hand here. Lawless Virgin Birth, um, Star from Lost Child. So I can grab a Denarius off the Virgin Birth there. Really nice for
Yep.
that.
Just get some more extra
Lost.
cards for the first turn of the game.
hmm Lost Child, I usually send it towards myself, but if I was thinking I wanted to see what his deck was exactly and get a soul out.
Yeah.
If I need to, I can get Lost Souls for myself, but I wanted to see what he's got too. So I saw some stuff, saw that he had soul protection in there, which doesn't matter against my deck. He's playing his um I forgot the name. I forgot the name
Soul
already, but the soul
Surfer.
deck basically. Yeah, Soul Surfer. So lots of powerful souls in there that I don't want to pull out, but Hopper's a good
Yeah.
one.
Hopper's nice because if you pull it out and put it in their territory, it doesn't hop over to you.
Yeah. So he's able to play 3 souls here with his 2 stars, which is really nice. He's gonna play one from me and 2 from his deck, which will
Well,
give him a good setup here. Because one of these is I don't, while he's doing this, I'm changing my macros because my macros are not set up well for not playing on voice chat. And that's another thing is I tend to play a little bit worse when I'm trying to type everything out
yeah, I
because
get
I'm
that.
like, I want to talk, but I
I
gotta
get
type.
that. I get that.
But yeah. So on this, I was he pulled my prosperity out, which was sad, but
Mm,
that's life. I'm
mm.
looking at a really strong, aggressive hand here.
Especially with that Angel Lord backup, it feels nice.
hmm and then the salty comes down, which kind of slows down my deck quite a bit because my deck is built around getting the
Yeah.
resurrection turn 1 through territory class enhancements. So that slows me down a bit. Accusers, I did not know why he did that. He told me later, but and it's not gonna come into play this game really. But
Okay.
accusers is there as the anti herdsman tech
Oh
because
wow.
he's a Matthew deck and he wants to prevent herdsmen.
Sheesh.
So like I never even considered it. And
That's
besides that, it doesn't do anything against my
crazy.
deck, but that was really cool.
Like I've always considered that card as like, oh, I'm going to stop their good Old Testament banding chains
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever. I never considered as a defensive or like a way to push
exactly.
your Matthew through.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it was really interesting. Got my Daenerys going, drew 3. I don't know. Oh, yeah, the Lawless was kind of disappointing. The Lawless got me the Emperor. I'm like,
Oh no,
seriously? I mean, it's not the worst. Like I can get Paul still, but like I Saul
no,
still, but you're like, I would have rather gotten like a Woes or a Crowd's
yeah,
Choice off of the
yeah.
Lawless and hit a soul that mattered, but I didn't get any souls, so
Hmm.
I did get it there though. But you can't complain about turn 1
There's your
Daenerys.
two territory class good enhancements.
Exactly.
So if your opponent didn't have salty, I think you would have had an even better turn one.
Definitely.
Is there any
Here's another.
world where you consider
But
just ripping off the second coming to find your son of God and just rescue salty here?
no, I don't think so. Like, there's definitely a lot of times where you would do that, but that's for me. Like, you use it for unorthodox means, but I wouldn't go a soul down just to get a good start here. And that's the other thing is second coming tends to be one of the weakest cards in your opening hand, just because of how you often have to burn it for something you don't want to burn it on easier
Right.
earlier. Gabriel went to grab Resurrection Revealer. I know that's going to cause him a lot of problems if I can stick it and keep it down.
Right.
So this is
Right.
going to be an important setup here. Um, I let him block here, and he's going to get Herod the Great into Herod's Temple.
Did you know he had Herod the Great in his opening hand?
No, I didn't. I don't think I have a chance to look at his hand. The Annunciation didn't come through Star, and yeah,
Yeah,
I've not seen his hand yet. I mean, I probably could have, if I spent time looking at his deck directly, I could
yeah,
have understood he had Herod's Guard. So there's a lot of ways that Herod's great. They have
yeah,
Deceiver, Herod's
yeah.
Guard, and Herod the Great himself. But um, oh, and
I'd,
he the Burning Cross choice, and I didn't even realize
uh,
that. So he would have gotten it anyways.
so
But
it
this is an important block here.
I have just a quick question for you. So,
Uh,
like, when you get that brief 30 seconds of searching through opponent's deck, I know there's not a lot of time there, but as far as maximizing your time, I think maybe just counting the number of dominants you see
yeah,
would be a good idea.
counting dominance, checking for Three Woes, because everybody should be playing Three Woes, so you know if they
Yeah.
have it in their hand or not. Um, but yeah, and then just seeing general stuff here. So
Okay. So, yeah, let's go back and
this is
talk about
important
this
here.
block here.
Yeah. So he didn't swap, which is like, okay, that's interesting. Then he asked for Dominish. And to me, I'm like, okay, if it's Christian Martyr, I'm totally fine with him martyring first. And in fact, that would be a bad play for him to martyr first, in my opinion, because he's got toss going already. So I'm not going to get any enhancements off. I can't toss him down completely. There's no 10 toss. So, and even then, you could still use it afterwards and be fine with it. So it would have been bad for him to ask for Dominish here for Christian Martyr. But in my mind, I was like, he's either got Christian Martyr or he's bluffing. So I'm going to let him go through with it,
Okay.
which turned out to be the wrong play because I did like, I did. The deck is called Soul Surfer. I should have been prepared for this, but I was not.
You think it's like a harvest time?
It is a harvest time, and
Oh,
then it
man.
wrecked me completely.
So, why is that relevant here? Is he going to grab a card that restricts dominance during the battle phase?
Yeah, complacent. And this card is insane.
Wow. Basically, it's like a one-sided. I get to play dominance during combat, but now you're shut out of that
He's locked out of him too now, but like Herod the Great with toss is a really good
with complacent backup
yeah,
is insane.
exactly.
Because now you can't
And
even like negate Herod's Temple
exactly.
with like your second coming.
And my enhancements are horrible for tossing right now. I've got
Yeah,
Angel Appears and
yeah.
Annunciation.
They only have one
So
power in tossing.
yeah. So
Okay.
I just need to get him down to salvage this. It's not a good situation, but to get him at least
Right.
not horrible.
So in retrospect, you're feeling like the
Yeah.
best play would have been Angel of the Lord there. At least you get a
Angel,
soul
Angel,
out of this.
Angel immediately. Very few players are actually playing Christian Martyr right now. And it would have been wrong for him to try to Christian Martyr me first. So
Yeah.
I just misplayed that pretty badly.
Yep. Okay. So that's going to cost you a soul here. Is it
hmm
going to cost you Gabriel himself?
No, because I do toss my Angel Appears to
Mm.
reduce Herod the Great.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Angel appears not doing much anyways.
mhm. And he grabs some other souls. He grabs Humble, which is always good. Wandering, which is good. Um, Luckily, I do have Resurrection Revealer, so I'll be able to stop some of his stuff here. But and he pulls out my
Interesting
Distressed. Yeah,
layout here he has for his souls. I kind of like it, not gonna lie.
yeah. In the back, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should do that. That's kind of sick. You have your
hmm
fossils in the back, evil characters right above, then heroes right above. It kind of almost mimics
Yeah,
a
exactly. You can
table.
do it like the vertical table. That'd be good.
Yeah, I dig it.
So I can drop Resurrection here. Now I'm negating his neutral, so I can actually play through Salty. So I get to
Yeah.
Annunciation here.
Unfortunate
I'm
you
trying to
weren't.
make the best
Yeah.
out of a bad situation here with
It's also
losing my
like
first.
unfortunate you weren't able to get that resurrection revealer into play before combat.
hmm
Although, like, who knows if Humble would have been active or not.
So I
Oh, your
grabbed the Three
territory answers
Woes.
got turned it back on. That's great.
Yep. And Distress is really nice against him too. So there's that going for me. There's not many souls he can pull out from here that can that won't trigger. So
Do you
he had to pull out some
remember
stuff. That's
how many lost souls he named with Harvest Time? He just didn't name like 10,
three,
right?
three.
That's
So he
really
got Wanderer,
strategic
Humility, and Complacent.
because there's probably lost souls in your deck that he didn't want to pull out either.
hmm
Yeah.
He gave me Lost Souls. I made myself a token. He's already got a ton of souls. I'd rather him start eating up real souls than giving me whatever he wants. You get some Matthew here, but this is really cool. My hand is as small as this deck ever gets on
2?
brigades too. Yeah.
Nice.
So this block is
Yeah.
interesting. I don't have a strong block here. I could either go for Saul to draw, Nicodemus or Emperor Nero. And I really like, without only having one enhancement, I really don't want to risk either one of those that much.
Yeah. This way, like if you block with Nero, you force him to do
Mhm.
something and you get the chance of just like
I think I might do Saul. Yeah, I do Saul here,
okay.
just to draw and like force him to do something about what I've got going.
If that's the
Um,
case, maybe Nicodemus was the block because he would have had to play enhancement to get through Nicodemus, whereas Saul, he's just going to die to numbers
yeah,
right
that's a
here.
good point. That's a really good point. I really value the CBN off of Nicodemus, but he doesn't
Yeah.
attack big enough to give me Nicodemus
Yeah.
freely. So I think you might be right. Actually, that might be the better play there.
And plus, Saul's always a great block later on in the game if you
Hmm.
know, because he can always grab. What do you have in your reserve?
Hmm. This is the card that I always hate. Like whenever I'm playing its New Testament offense, I hate when they get to ban all my stuff. He forgets to
Yeah.
ban to my stuff here,
The
but
Ascension is so good.
otherwise, yeah, it's amazing. So he gets Lazarus down, negating evil cards,
Oh,
negating
right.
my self-destruction,
That's brutal.
negate my draw, and luckily he did not ban to my heroes. He could have gotten a. I
Free
don't know if the deck
Gabriel
can actually
trigger?
grab. Yeah, he get a reserve trigger from Gabriel. He get a gospel dominant, so he missed that. But
Okay.
still solid attack for him.
Yeah.
Um, my woes can't hit anything as Lazarus is already converted, so there's no fighting that one.
Yeah.
Give him prosperity; it's not going to matter the rest of the game. So I'm feeling pretty bad about this so far. At least he didn't ban to my guys
Yeah.
though, which is nice. And I couldn't even woes even though I wanted to because complacent was down. Oh no, it's negated. So
Mhm. So I have a question. So if he ends up banding to one of your angels, does your resurrection revealer turn off all of a sudden?
I lose the territory class ability for Resurrection Revealer. He starts negating. Well, no, he wouldn't start negating my stuff because he doesn't. Even if he banded to both of mine, I think it says you control,
Okay.
and or maybe it's you control. I'm not sure, but
Mhm.
whenever it comes back, it would turn back on, unless he had a distress down that was negating mine from preventing mine from coming back on.
Okay. So that's an interesting way to turn off complacent mid battle. It's like banding to your opponent's resurrection revealer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now the dominants are back online.
So pass a turn. I'm trying to save a lot here because my Lackey randomly freezes up, shuts down.
Yeah, really
Uh,
unfortunate that your draw two got negated there.
mhm, definitely. And like you're saying, like Nicodemus might have been better against his deck to block with there, or Emperor Nero.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
definitely would have been an interesting thing about. So I grab a good seed with New Covenant, my territory class for the turn because I'm negating Salty. Um,
Feels so good to have good seed in play, like plus
yeah.
new covenant. Do you want to
The
tell people about that combo if they don't know?
Yeah, the Good Seed New Covenant combo is Good Seed activates itself by reserving itself, and New Covenant can grab good gospel enhancements from reserve. So if you can continuously add a battle at once every turn through that little combo there using
Mhm.
New
Mhm.
Covenant to grab Good Seed. If Gabriel goes in, there's no good negate targets, not even my own guys. So he goes in. I get to reserve his Three Woes, which is nice. It's always nice to reserve Three Woes from them.
Mhm.
I think it did Three Woes, yeah. And um, I usually don't like starting attacks off of Gabriel because I like to bring him in off a ban, but I don't have any
Yeah.
characters that can really band him in.
Yep.
You need Simeon or the Magi to bring him in off a ban from Good Seed.
And that's really valuable because you get that negate on a stick, basically.
Mm-hmm. So I
Okay.
resurrection here.
And you want to play this before he blocks because of
You I forgot exactly why here. On the first turn, you often do it before they block, just because you don't want them just to say, I'm going to give you a soul and go, because you want to get up stables, you want to get everything going.
You want to draw cards off your heroes attacking.
Exactly. So drawing 4 here, tossing the next, it's all nice. And getting a stables in play. Stables is really powerful for this deck. So I revealed the woes that I had. I draw 4.
Did he already know about the woes?
Yes, because it was the enunciation target the first turn.
Yep. Just trying to
So I'm
minimize
preventing
the
his
amount of
next.
info he has.
Yeah, I'm tossing his next and preventing his next. If he negates my toss, I still have a prevent on his next.
Which is
So
nice.
it's a strong attack here. There's
Yeah.
definitely ways around it, but I don't remember exactly what
He
happened
blocks
here.
with like Hair Agrippa, activates Hair's Temple. You can just 3 woes something.
Yeah.
And Good Seed, notably that.
I think he does do hair grip, but I think he negates my resurrection revealer, so I cannot 3 woes here.
Oh wow.
So, and now that I have my Magi, I think this is what happens, and I'm gonna feel sad about this because otherwise I could have Magi'd my Gabriel in and negated his Herod Agrippa. So
There's that Herod's card again.
exactly.
The power of the Herods, man, coming in.
Mm-hmm.
They
So
can
he
do
comes
so
in.
much with just a couple of cards.
Yeah. And Herod Agrippa really works really well with the Herods because the one negate can often be the key to a situation.
Yeah.
I don't all the times that he gets in and negates something that was holding back your dominance or negates something that was allowing you to add to battle, because he often comes in and negates a good seed. He's really good at like messing with the board state in that way.
I really like pairing Herods with Complacent because there's so many like outs to the Herods are oftentimes dominance. And if you can't play those during battles, like the Herods get that much stronger.
Exactly. So I'm preventing next, tossing next too. And he's just gonna, I think he's gonna sit here on his stalemate, which is totally fine for him. It's a really good block for him.
Is he activating Temple here?
Let me see.
Because like you
I thought
could.
he already did activate Temple. Oh, I think he did before block. If you want to
Before
like
block. Right. Okay.
rewind in and see if maybe I just missed it, but I think I would have. I don't know if he actually. I don't know if he actually activated Temple.
Okay. Because is there anything stopping you from just Lost Child founding here?
No, like if he didn't actually activate Temple, I could have done that. I thought he had done it.
Yeah.
Maybe I just assumed he did for some reason. But
yeah. I don't know. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. We don't know right now.
Yeah. Okay.
But if he wasn't, then Lost Child founding.
Oh, okay. He didn't need to. He was still preventing my next good card, and I didn't have CBP on anything.
Because of Herod's guard.
Yeah. Although I could have brought in a character with a good seed, but then he could have activated toss right after that. So that wouldn't have changed anything. If he
because
played it right.
Herod's guard says prevent the next good card played, and if you put a hero into battle, that is okay. So he's just trying to conserve. He doesn't want to try and.
He's not trying to kill my band. He's just trying to buy time for his offense to do the stuff.
I think what I was trying to say is like he doesn't want to needlessly exile cards off the top of his deck if he didn't have to.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's really smart. Good plays.
I shouldn't have Heavenly Host in here, but it's not going to really matter in this matchup.
Heavenly Host.
Do any soul hiding.
Tell me what you're going to replace him with after, like right now. Go to Lackey, cut him from the deck. Tell me right now what you're gonna. Tell me what you're gonna put him in.
I mean, Heavenly Host actually played better than Guardians of Glory from Glory here. I do believe, but Guardians of Glory is what I'd be playing. Let's put Deceiver down. Usually you don't want to put Deceiver down, but I'd rather keep these characters hidden in Deceiver CVP. So
dude, I love entrapping when they have a crowds out. But I guess Lost Souls are still getting negated.
But yeah, his like anytime that he can negate my neutral negator. Like he can always just randomly cause me a lot of problems. I need to thin down his souls, and that's why it would have been really nice to have Son of God instead of Second Coming, because you'd feel fine firing up Son of God to get rid of
Yeah.
a complacent early, but you
Yeah.
don't want to burn a Second Coming on the first Son of God usually.
Exactly. And it's crazy that you've had an Angel of the Lord in your hand first game, and he's kind of
Yeah.
been able to hold you off of any souls right now.
Yeah, complacent does a lot of work, and I have to be more vigilant about how I do it. Frankly, in the first turn, I think he should have harvested before he blocked.
Because
But
that gives you the option to Angel of the Lord.
yeah, I would never had the option to Angel of the Lord the
Yeah,
first round.
that's true.
Um,
That's true.
so, but otherwise, yeah, I had the option to do it, and I just failed on it by
Yeah.
putting him on Christian Martyr or falling away.
Well, it's cool because I don't think you're ever going to make that mistake ever again.
Yeah, definitely. Although
So,
he's caught me off guard with Harvest Time in different ways before, so like maybe a different situation that's similar. We'll see.
Harvest Time is really interesting because it represents so many different things, especially if you consider like what you want to put in play and also what your opponent might have.
I do like this block here from me.
Okay,
So he
what was
brings in
it?
a Mary. He's got a really strong attack here, and I offer Dominish, and I play a Three Woes on my own Res Revealer.
Nice. You shut off dominance now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so Mary ended up reserving your Deceiver. Unfortunate, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not the end of the world. And then his hand's protected, so you're going to go in Trapping
Yeah, baby,
Pharisee
let's go.
and just
And that's
go
the thing, like,
boom.
yeah,
That's sick.
I know I can switch woes next turn, so I'm not worried about that. Like he can have his neutrals for the discard phase. Getting a block here, getting rid of Mary is a huge boost here.
Yeah,
It gives me a second Meek Soul too. The deck like having Meek Souls around.
true.
So, and if he saves a soul, I can give him Mary instead of something
Really,
else. So
you really heads up play here. I love this play.
yeah, so
Nice.
a shining beacon in my error misplay clouds. So
It feels so good to get Mary out of the picture. You don't have to
yeah.
worry about Mary targeting your territory anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So
like, I guess,
discards his
okay.
Angel from the Sun. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, there are ways to release captured heroes, but the New Testament decks don't really play that many.
Yeah.
Really good games so far.
So I don't know why he was asking about how long the Res Revealer is going to be negated. Just for reference, whenever something's negated for a round, it goes until the player's next upkeep. That's when a round is counted. So that's how long it's negated for. So I get Son of
And
God here, which is nice.
you didn't use the star
There's
ability because his hand was still being protected.
his hand's protected, and I didn't want to reveal my hand
Yeah.
either. And I would get rid of Nicodemus too. And I want to get rid of Nicodemus because he's a hero,
Okay. Yep.
unfortunately.
Makes sense.
I'd cut
Son of
off the
God.
hero side if I could.
Son of God's here. Hooray.
Yeah.
Love that.
Grab Flabbit Flight into Egypt there.
I love how your deck can just refuel every turn, just is ready for more fighting.
Yeah, the offense is really good at fueling itself. It's not like the fastest offense out there. It's decently fast, but it just comes continuously. It keeps on bringing cards continuously.
Especially if you're attacking with Mary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he asked for Domination here. I wasn't sure exactly what he's doing. If he was Three Wosing. While I was about to resolve my good seed. He asked for Domination, and then he said finish it, and we'll do it. I'm like, oh, now what I do?
Yeah.
So I grabbed Magnificat there.
Okay. So why'd you grab Flight into Egypt here?
So Flight into Egypt, I was hoping to find my Star of Bethlehem and get a protection from Flight into Egypt here. I don't actually use Flight into Egypt often as an actual enhancement. I often just discard it at the end of turn, but the Star ability is really good with Star of Bethlehem. So that's something I try to do with it.
as like a newer nativity player, I would always keep a Star of Bethlehem in my hand.
Hmm.
Or sorry, I would always keep Flight into Egypt in my hand, and I didn't realize that Star of Bethlehem was like actually if you discard it, then you'll still get to use that star ability.
Exactly.
So
So yeah, my deck likes to have a ton of cards in my hand, so I usually can't force the hand advantage often. Like maybe the first turn, especially if I'm going first, I can, but after that, it's hard to force hand advantage. So I grab The Child is Born with New Covenant. Um, let's see here. I'm not sure what I did from this part here. I'm going into battle phase. I wanted to grab Star of Bethlehem, but I can't do it with Magi. He needs hand advantage to grab Star of Bethlehem. So I think I could have grabbed it with Res Revealer, but then he would not be protected. So there's not much value in that. It could be Gabriel or Res Revealer, but then I lose the negate off Good Seed.
yep.
I would really like Simeon here because Simeon could have gone to, and he has a token here. Actually, it's funny. He underdecks his Herod Agrippa, which really doesn't matter. He can always get him back, but it's funny that it works like that. So,
And your plan is just to try and band in characters and win the battle that way.
yeah, because I have the banning ability. So Son of God there steals complacent. I don't want him to negate my
Yeah, you don't want a
heroes and
repeat of last
yeah,
time.
exactly. So I got a 1/9 angel. The angel is very good for initiative. Very few things get initiative against a 1/9. And
And
if
if
somehow he gets defeated, I'm not like, oh no,
yeah,
not my
yeah,
token.
not my
So
cue. And if he goes for just like the hair of the Great Hair's Temple, you're just gonna Angel
mhm,
the Lord.
mhm,
Mm-hmm. And if he goes for Hair Archelaus, you just band in there everybody and
exactly.
toss the next, prevent the next.
Yeah. And my woes moved over to his Herod's Temple too, so I'm
Oh,
good on that.
gotcha. So you don't even have to worry about that. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because if you didn't have that, he would just block with Hair Archelaus, then
Hmm.
yeah, Herod's Temple,
Start
you
tossing.
and you couldn't Angel Lord that. Gotcha.
Hmm.
Okay.
Although I would be able to toss it down. I think yeah, Flight into Egypt plus Child is Born is
That's
amazing
true.
toss value, and Flight is a good toss card. You can also use Flight as just if they're preventing your next. You're like, okay, you prevent this. I wasn't planning on using this. I'm gonna put my real stuff down now. So
Yeah. So
there's that.
here's a pro tip. If you're ever in a toss battle with like Mary versus a big guy and you have enough to toss him down, stack your toss in a way so that they don't get initiative to toss at
Hmm.
you because one toss just takes Mary out.
Exactly.
So I learned that really the brutal way.
Almost always tosses you want to toss the small one first and then the big
Yeah.
one.
Finish him off in one hit.
Hmm. And it's like, oh, outsiders. So this is gonna be really annoying here.
Anything you could have done to play around outsiders here?
That's the one problem with Good Seed. Like it's a ton of um, brigades on board, and
Mhm.
Nativity has a bunch of random brigades. Like there's a teal, there's a green, so it's always annoying for X brigades cards. That's probably one of
Mhm.
the big weaknesses of Nativity is the brigades it has on it. Um, so he gets yeah. I have every brigade except red and blue, so he gets
7?
yeah 7.
And you have
Really
board
strong.
advantage.
Hmm. Which nativity this my deck often does too. So
Yeah. You only had like 6 cards in his territory.
hmm
You have more than 6 heroes alone. Heavenly
yeah,
Host is not good against us.
no, no,
Oh gosh. Okay. This is big for him.
yeah,
I'm curious to see what he does here. Definitely underdecking good seed as a start.
hmm
And he knows that you can't Three Woes his outsiders because it's on your battlefield.
hmm
And so maybe he just like underdecks himself. I don't I don't
no, no,
know.
no, no, no. He doesn't want to give me SI. He would give me SI if he targeted me because he doesn't have temple active yet. So
Okay.
he doesn't want to interdeck himself. He doesn't want to interdeck me.
So
He
I
wants
guess
to
he's
mess up the
gonna
board.
underdeck Three Woes and then activate Hair's Temple.
Exactly, exactly.
Oh my gosh, it's so brutal.
And he also gets my Resurrection Revealer, which turns on his souls too. So
Oh,
it
oh
all
no.
goes all at once.
Outsiders just can swing the game so
Yeah,
much.
really
It's
good.
a cool card.
hmm So here's the thing I was thinking about doing. I was thinking about, man, do I just Second Coming, Three Woes, and negate his Outsiders?
Yeah, why not?
The problem with that is if I do that, then I don't get any of the cards back that he underdecked because they've moved by shuffling my deck. So
What?
I would negate his draw, but like getting no cards back except the woes, I
Really?
just don't think that's valuable. So
So like shuffling your
uh,
deck is considered moving cards around in a zone.
yeah. So
Uh,
to negate an outsiders, the cards still need to be at the bottom of your deck,
oh, I
and if they're
didn't
not
know
at the
that.
bottom of your deck, you don't get them back. So I was like, nah, that's not. I can still get this automatically. This is a rescued soul for me. The problem is how much damage he did to my board in the process.
Yeah, so fill me in. I
So
missed it. He got rid of stable, good seed,
yeah,
res
Stable's
revealer.
actually there. He got Temple, Good Seed, Resurrection Revealer, Woes, and he drew
Wow.
3. So that turned out amazingly for him, and so, like not amazingly for me for sure. So we get to toss him down one shot. He's a 7/7. Boom, dead.
So
Um,
outsiders, he checks the XX like when he enters battle.
He does check the XX when he enters battle. At least his stats change every time anything changes.
Okay.
I'm not sure if his well, the X is an instant effect, so it doesn't really matter afterwards.
So
But
do you think he
yeah,
was a 7/7 still, or do you think he was less?
I think he was a little bit less, but nothing that I don't think he was range of flight into Egypt. So that means I would have had to use both of them anyways. So there was no point,
Dang.
in my opinion, to put
Again, just
on.
like perfectly balancing the hand so that flight in Egypt is can't be played on outsiders.
Well, it wouldn't be. He was
Oh,
tossing it, so
I forget. Sorry.
he was. I think he was at 5 or 6. So tossing him down would not have.
Okay, I get you.
And I did want to give him an initiative toss on me, although I have a 1/9, so it really wouldn't have mattered. Yeah. But I think it was
Okay.
just right to kill him off. I could have been wrong about that.
So you can get good
So
seed back with New Covenant next
yeah,
turn.
yeah. I'd call that rescue a Pyrrhic rescue. I think I suffered more damage than um, he did, but I did get a soul, so that's valuable. Puts me up 3-1. Obviously, 3 I've already used my dominance, so it's basically 1-1 in terms of real rescues.
Did you use your second coming to? I forgot what you did with your second coming.
Second Coming, the Son of God, to get Humble out of the way.
Okay,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. At this
Oh,
point,
really?
I'm not relying on territory class enhancements anymore. It's not a big problem for me, so I wasn't worried about Salty. Wanderer is, if he ever wanders over, I can wander it back, and I'm negating it most of the time, so shouldn't be a problem. So he gets a Simon in here. He gets to pick my Emperor Nero, and I just don't have any like
This is not
agility.
good.
Yeah, I don't have any agility to deal with this,
Yeah,
so this is
playing
really
a
rough.
card which makes his enhancement CBN.
hmm
That's fun.
And now that you mention it earlier in the game, like if I put Emperor Nero out, I think it might have been just a much better play because he would have killed it, but I wouldn't have had to like just give him full initiative here on a choose the blocker.
Because he
So
maybe could have had Deceiver or Paul in play instead.
exactly.
And if he
So
plays
he
Send the Helper, you can play a card that gives you initiative.
exactly. So I think that yeah, that's definitely a misplay from earlier. I couldn't do anything about it this turn though. It's too late for that. So he steals my last Meek Soul there, and then he goes for his combo too. So now he's at 4. Um,
Okay.
so really interesting
Yeah,
here.
your defense just needs to hold out one more turn.
Well, I need to hold out one more turn, and I need to get a rescue.
Yeah.
So an interesting thing to note here is he converted my Nero to blue, which is going to break my Mary Unity. I haven't
No.
realized it yet, but that is definitely a problem. All at the same time, I haven't found my Mary yet, so there's that.
Because Mary
I haven't
cares
found my
about
Mary yet.
gospel unity, and Nero's the Book of Acts.
Mm-hmm.
There's Mary.
There's Star of Bethlehem and Mary.
Okay, so you have a star of flight into Egypt turn
Mm-hmm.
attack. That's gonna
Yep.
help. Just gotta get past his
Stable.
Herods.
Unfortunately, you can't grab the Coming Prince. So I grab the Magnifying Multitude here.
Yeah, another negate would have been nice.
Mm-hmm. I skipped my Grumble here, which is annoying.
Mm. What have you underdecked here?
I think I would have underdecked maybe I'm not sure actually. Maybe the Philistine well, I don't know about that actually. Where was I thinking of underdecking? Actually, it might have been Stricken because I always like drawing that again later in the game.
Mm.
Uh, so Star of Bethlehem for 6. I get a good dominant. I'm pulling out the items to show, and they'll do the order afterwards. So Flight in Egypt for protection. Magnificat to discard a card from reserve. John to get a good dominant. And that's one of the things John makes Star of Bethlehem a lot better because you can get to turn one of Star's draws into a guaranteed dominant,
That's really
which
nice.
is nice. I get to play Lost Soul, so that's 5, and I get one more star.
Do
And
you
it's
even
look at
have
the
any
hand.
dominants left in your deck? You have 3 woes.
Yes. Yeah, I have the Crouch Choice. I can get 3 woes back. So, a couple good dominants left. So I get to look at his hand. I get to play a soul. I get to discard a card from a reserve, which is going to be his 3 woes. I get to protect my guys. So it's just really powerful, like late game refilling
Yeah.
dominant.
This is one
Um,
card just doing all of this.
so yeah, hand look, protect activity, discard reserve, play soul, top deck, dom, draw 6. So
What's
the
that
draw
gray
5
card
was
in? What's reputing rulers do? What does that do?
repudiating rulers. Okay, so that is the star ability is play lost soul. That's why he gets it, and it's active. It's like Saul. It can get a New Testament gray card, or it can exchange or something. But it doesn't have CBP, so it's kind
Okay.
of like Saul. It's not exactly like him, but it's
Yeah,
similar.
it's like we have budget soul at home
Mhm.
type of.
Yeah, exactly. We have a village soul. I got
And
my
he's
3
he's also
woes.
playing Saul in this deck.
I think so. No. He's
Interesting.
not actually. The reason why he's playing repudiating is for the star ability
Just like to
and
play a lost
Saul.
soul from a deck.
Yeah, and then he can
Okay.
also grab unsuccessful with it. But like,
So yeah.
um,
Okay.
yeah,
It's like a card that's good early to play lost souls, and also a card good late to maybe just do a chump
hmm
block.
exactly.
Interesting.
Another thing to note for this deck is if I have the option, I always want my woes to be evil because the cards that give my deck the most problem are Temple and Stables. So uh, usually you want your woes to be evil, and I think every player should know what their deck wants their woes to be.
Yep.
Because sometimes you're negating a neutral thing. You're like, oh, do I make it good or do I make it evil? Like,
Yeah.
if you
Or
know what
is
your deck usually has problems with, you can be like, I always want this as evil if I have the choice, so I'm going to make this evil.
Or if you know for a fact you're fighting against a Mary deck, Mary's going to underdeck your evil 3 woes. So maybe that's a reason to play good in certain matchups.
Mm-hmm. So I woe Salty here. Maybe I should have grabbed his Salty my instead of his Humble, because having to woe Salty here is kind of annoying. You like to keep
Wow.
woes back for a battle effect, but I wanted my
Because
good seed in play.
the only thing that Humble's doing is preventing maybe like a John the Silent or Zechariah the Silent prevent.
Yeah. Yeah, I already used enunciation, so it's not going to help with that. So I think you're right. It would have been better um, to use to get to save keep his humble, get rid
Yeah.
of the salty.
Yeah. Okay.
So I got a full grip here, but he's got a couple good like blocks, so it's hard to do this. And I'm like, oh man, he has um, Here the Great to choose my Nero. So I need a good seed down to if he gets Nero, I need a good seed. Block it.
Right.
Although I did have Angel of the Lord, so I don't know. I still need to. I need to make this rescue and another rescue. So I'm definitely. I got to be very I had to. There's a lot of different ways for him to block, and I really got to race him here. So I got to make
Do you
everything count.
have any information about what is in his hand right now?
I did. I saw his hand. I don't remember what I saw in his hand.
Okay.
Uh, so, but he had the repudiating rulers.
He had like maybe a reprimand, repercussion,
Something
maybe.
like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
He's
he goes to
activating
toss.
Herod's Temple.
Mm-hmm.
Good seed
He
down.
saves for my good seed, and he's gonna negate Heavenly Host. So yeah, that negate really didn't matter, but she got rid of my good seed, which was quite annoying.
And Gabriel tried to get this guy into the reserve, right?
Uh, yeah. Yes, I think so. Actually, yeah. And she went to reserve on it. So I was like, and I knew what I was doing. I'm like, wait, this is not going to work because she goes to reserve. So
Yeah.
I start tossing at him. Start toss for 2.
Die. Die. You
He
have
ends up
enough to take him
using.
down?
I do. I have a ton of white enhancements here, and fighting Egypt's there too. So toss for
And so even
4.
though he's protected from your heroes, he's not protected from his own Herod's Temple.
Exactly.
Seems like to me that's a flavorful thing for the Herods. Like they're really prideful and
Yeah.
their own buildings kill them.
Exactly. And it
Yeah.
was nice for me because, like, it's nice to get rid of a bunch of enhancements in a good way there. Like, I don't want to discard all my cards at the end of turn for no reason. So um, I felt good about that one. I probably could have done it better, but it felt good to get up to
Yeah.
4. And so also during this time, we're talking about what happens at the end of an LGP at a tie. Because, like, if I didn't make that rescue there, time was running out. Like, I wasn't going to get another rescue. So I needed to make that rescue. That was a do or die rescue there. So I made it, and we're asking around, and no one's awake. So we're like, how about we do this? We note it as potentially was tie, and he won on souls, or we keep on playing it out and see what happens. And if they tell us we should do it as a tie, we'll say it as a tie. And um, if they
Yeah.
say that you should have played it out, we're like, hey, we did. So we have both
I
bases
like
covered
that.
there. Yeah.
So maybe in a tournament setting, this would have been a tie, but then you play it to the brutal end and we'll see what happens, huh?
Definitely. Although, like, I think he gets one turn because I played first, so he still gets his turn. So that was a do or die rescue. I also have a do or die block coming up here. So
Yeah.
we're in crunch time. This is
It's like
crazy.
it's like football. It's like
Yeah,
4th and 1, and you know they have to get it the
exactly.
down or the game's over.
Yeah.
I
So I
like
got to
that.
make this goal line stop here.
Yeah. He's at
He's got
the
a virgin
5-yard
birth,
line.
man, and the announcer's like, "Oh, the virgin birth off the top, no way." So,
Yeah.
but I definitely feel like if I had Angel of the Lord that first turn, that would have given me a lot of momentum because I wouldn't have to worry about Herod the Great every turn. A lot of my plays are like scooting around him. Like, okay, how do I play around his Herod the Great? So it's taking up my mental capacity. It's forcing me to play a little bit differently. A lot of things are happening because of that. So he shipwrecks my Herod's Temple here. And so he shipwrecks my Herod's Temple. Herod's Temple is amazing. So, like, man, that's kind of rough to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
I know my entrapping is not going to be that valuable the rest of the game. Like, I mean, it's still a fine blocker, but when you need to, like, guarantee a block, you don't want to just discard a card from their hand. Like, I want something really
Yeah.
powerful.
And
So
for your armor bearer, what can that do here?
armor bearer gets me my Philistine package. I tell him, tell me before you go to battle here. This is important. But the Philistine package is Goliath and Herdsman of Gerar. Goliath is in my reserve, and Herdsman's in my main deck. If he draws a bunch of cards or searches, I can use Herdsman to search my reserve and draw cards to match him. And there's Goliath, who withdraws all non-giant
Yeah.
slayers. So
And
he's
you
going
have
to battle here.
Resurrection Revealer down. So that's
Mm-hmm.
negating neutrals again.
He's going to battle here, so I Angel the Lord my own Entrapping Pharisees.
How did he
Because
bounce his own Simon?
he did it with his Send the Helper, and because it's placed on the Book of the Covenant, it's CBN, so it can get through my Resurrection Revealer.
Oh, wow.
So he sends in Simon CB as Meek, He grabs eternal inheritance. So
So
this
basically, if you ever give him priority, he's gonna win the game, right?
exactly. So I need to like not let him like cast that enhancement.
How are
So
you
we
gonna do
do
that?
because we got Goliath and Foreign Spears. Like this is awesome. So Foreign Spears comes down and blows up his Herod's temple, but
What?
it does not negate it. So the
Okay.
effect is still on. So we switch to Goliath. We withdraw his dude. He can present from his hand, but he cannot present from his territory. So
Whoa,
none of those characters can come in.
that's so
And
cool.
he doesn't have anything left in his hand. So I just bought myself a chance to win the whole
Incredible.
LGP here. Yeah.
So if you're playing Philistine Armor Bearer, put some foreign spears in your reserve, kids.
Yeah. Like the combo is just so amazing. Like you just get to do it and like they don't really get a response because like it's gone from the battle. He's gone. It's not even the last card played. Like it's so hard to
Yeah,
negate a foreign spears if
yeah,
you're not preventing it.
and it's just like so free too.
Yeah.
Great play, great play. Love that.
And it
It,
felt
it
bad
went from a
angeling my
scenario where it's like, there's no way I'm gonna win this. Then you had the
exactly.
angel of the Lord, your Pharisee, kill their Herod's temple. And then, wow, that's a great play. Yep,
So
yep,
my
that's a
next thought
block.
is like I would really like to get my King Prince so I could get a second Star of Bethlehem protected attack in here.
Yep,
But I don't have a way to do that. Manger doesn't grab it. It's not nativity. I haven't had Mary online, so she's usually the one that grabs it because it's a star ability. Um, so I'm just like, oh, how do I actually finish
mm.
this game here?
And your
I'm looking
good
at
seed
reserve. I'm
has
like,
just been,
I want that card in my in my hand.
yeah.
So
But what if they have? I think the Herods they love to just like in the battle of stalemate or protect lost souls from rescue. Like the in flight into Egypt wouldn't help against that.
yeah, no, they don't. Luckily, his deck I don't believe plays the reserve an NT hero to protect souls because he's using orphans, which protects souls from evil cards.
Oh yeah,
He's
it's
so
kind of a nombo.
wrapped around the value of the souls, which is amazing, that he does not want to anybody to be messing with souls with Sheol. Like people
Yeah,
forget, like you can use Sheol on your opponent's souls. Like if
true.
they have a really strong soul out, you're like, get rid of that salty. Okay, get rid of that distressed.
That's true.
So he doesn't want people like fiddling with his souls.
Hmm.
So yeah, we talked about it like, hey, let's find out exactly what happened. But it turns out, yeah, this goes on quite a while. Okay, so
Okay,
we're
so now it's your
starting here.
last turn,
Yeah.
and you're like, "This is you made the stop. Now
Hmm.
you have the ball back."
Exactly. It's overtime. I got another shot here. Timblevale, I want to look at his hand. I want to see what I'm up against. But I also want to activate New Covenant. And then there's like I cannot if I activate Book of the Covenant, I do not get New Covenant, but I do get You Will Remain.
Yeah,
There's just so many options here.
yeah. I like the Temple Veil to see what you're working with, but also like
Mhm.
good New Covenant to grab. You know,
And and normally I get my Temple Veil for free, but he got rid of my Herod's Temple, so I don't get my Temple
yeah,
Veil for free here, which is annoying. Um, I think with Afterthought, I think the best plan might have been Book of Covenant into You Will Remain. Um, but it's just a rough situation. There's a lot of different ways that he can block from, and my mind's having trouble comprehending all the ways that I can
yeah,
fight this.
yeah.
Mm.
Certainly a match worthy of being a finals of a Lackey Grand Prix, in my opinion.
And he was talking about my Angel of the Lord, and he's like, maybe I should have saved Shipwreck. I'm like, if you didn't use Shipwreck, I wouldn't have used Angel of the Lord because he broke my Herod's Temple. That means my entrapping Pharisees were now open to being selected. So his
Yep.
Shipwreck bought my Angel of the Lord in that sense. So I'm putting stuff down, getting my hand size down, if it matters in this attack. I realize here that I was like, oh, if I had a meek soul, I could actually get rid of both of his meek disciples and have less to worry about. But I don't have a
Yeah.
meek soul, so I can only get rid of one of them.
Getting rid of
I
Simon.
can, I can still draw two though. Yeah. So I'm gonna go. I believe I go here, and because time had been called already, we're spending extra time thinking
Yeah.
about stuff. Um, it's definitely too long to play normally. I do this. This lets me get rid of John from my territory too as an option, and lets me see his hand. So repudiating, forward and spears, revolt. What else was there? I didn't see everything,
Those are
but yeah,
scribes.
like he's got a really strong hand. I get to bring back John, so I don't have to worry about him getting selected. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I have a huge amount of choices here. I have two Banders. I have Gabriel. Just lots of different choices here. I discard.
Are there any like nativity cards that are in your deck that Joseph might be interested in grabbing?
I don't believe so. And I think he goes to his. Oh, I guess yeah, his hand's larger than mine now. So, oh, it's Mary actually. And I had forgotten that Mary's turned off on our Unity because I have my blue
So
Nero there.
do you actually go Joseph into Mary and try to do
Yes,
Mary?
eventually.
Oh
Yeah,
no. Oh
yeah. It's
no.
bad. It gets bad.
Oh no. Is there any way you could have gotten Nero out of here? I mean, Templeville only bounces gospel and
Yeah,
it's not gospel.
exactly. So I don't have any good ways to get rid of him. I don't
Mm.
think. I guess I could
Wait,
reserve. I
you have
could
it
have
at
reserved him with.
pretension.
I could have reserved him with retention. I was thinking about getting rid of like his next attack if I could possibly survive
Yeah.
another round.
But maybe you just
But
try
you're
to
right.
go
I
for
could have
this
retention.
win here by taking out Nero, getting Mary.
Yeah, but I didn't even realize here that he was breaking my unity. So
Yeah. It's only a
I
play
did
you
think of him.
see retrospect.
Yeah, I did think of him as a weakness to Herod the Great, but I was like, okay,
Right. You
his weakness to Herod.
recognized the Herod the Great threat, but failed to
Yeah,
see the gospel unity.
unity. Yeah.
Mhm.
And oh,
Yeah.
the other thing was, oh, I was gonna have Mary reserve Herod the Great. So I was like, okay, that'd be fine. I'll reserve Herod the Great.
Mhm.
I will get a star card for my reserve. It's all gonna be fine. It's all gonna be good. And it does not turn out that way.
Yeah. Because then, yeah, Mary can't get rid of Herod the Great, and he's probably just going to force Nero back into battle.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing you can do about that. Herod the Great's really good.
Yeah, Herod the Great's amazing.
Even without Herod's Temple, if you just have one weakness in your territory, Herod the Great's going to exploit that.
Exactly. So I'm just like, man, I have so many different banding ways I can do this. I wonder what's the best way to do this. I don't have good seeds, so I don't have to try to save Gabriel from a an add to battle. There's no point in that. So I bring him in to increase my stats here. I'm not trying to win by battle win. I'm trying to win by numbers. So
Fun. Mhm.
he doesn't have Herod's Temple. I don't have to worry about that. So I try to reserve his guy's like, no, Mary doesn't work. I'm like, oh, Mary doesn't work.
So
So
if he just went that gray card that just blocked and got us unsuccessful, like, did you have any outs to that?
and no, I think that might have been the other thing I was thinking about. Okay, I have to let him do that to me once, and then I can come
Right.
back and do it
Right.
again next turn.
That's
But
really
I wanted to
depressing.
force him to do it at least. Yeah, exactly.
And that's such a crazy card. Just like, oh my gosh,
Hmm.
that's exactly
And
what's
that's why
happening.
you will remain would have been really nice too, because that
Yeah.
prevents the in the battle of the stalemate there. So I got wrecked there.
Just by
Definitely
such a
misplaying a
random
lot.
card too.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think if I didn't have New Covenant up, I would have gone for you Book of the Covenant, but because I couldn't get both of them, I misplayed. Like if I was like, oh man, I can't get New Covenant. I'll wait till next turn where I can get both of them at the same time. But that's too late now. So I can make another goal line stand here. I got a decent amount of
Oh, man.
cards here in my grip, and I can also get rid of one of his heroes and draw two cards. So
But they
let's do
have
that.
eternal inheritance.
Exactly.
Mm. Yeah, I'd definitely get rid of Simon here. You don't want
Yeah.
him getting initiative at all.
Humble.
Herdsman.
Son.
Usually the
Yep.
best card in your deck against the Matthew decks, but probably the worst card
Mhm.
in your deck right now.
Yeah.
It's funny how like one Lost Soul can just flip that script so quickly.
Mm-hmm. So he Patmos here, but I'm negating it. I'm preventing it with Resurrection Revealer. So he's like, oh no. And when he says, oh no, I'm like, yes, oh yes.
Because he would have got back his Simon, huh?
Yeah. So he's like, ooh, okay, I got to figure out what to do here.
Yeah.
But, and you might want to press forward like at least once or twice here. There we go. So he figures out, he's like, well, it's a big mistake. But then he realizes that he can undo his mistake pretty easily, actually. So he drops a Lost Child Found.
Yep.
It bounces his Patmos back to his hand. He bounces
Whoops.
something else back to his hand.
The Control
Like,
Z.
oh, and my Resurrection Revealer. So like he's good now. Like he can just do it
Yeah,
all over
that's
again.
funny. And then he just goes for the win by choosing Nicodemus to block, huh? Or
Yeah, I
Goliath.
think he actually chooses Goliath, but like now that he can, because he knows exactly like what's going to happen with the present. So
Yeah.
and he gets a Euro remain too. So like he's set here. Like I don't have
Like,
any real options.
which is so sad because you just have 5 evil enhancements in hand and you can't even do anything.
Yeah. My deck really does better against those larging bands that try to like roll you over. Like, oh, I got initiative. I'm gonna take out your guys. But the smaller guys can be a problem for my deck, especially because I burned my Saul so quickly. That was annoying. And without Herod's Temple tossing stuff, just
Yeah.
trouble here. So it was a good game. He's a great player. He frequently gets me. He plays differently than other players. He has a different line, and it turned out to be a good game. I'm mad at myself, but I'm happy he beat me. So, well, I'm not happy he beat me. He's a good guy, so I'm fine.
It was a great game. I'm glad we got to see that. And thanks for hopping on and talking with it.
Yeah, thank you for putting up with all my shenanigans, misplays, and my voice.
I think I was impressed by the lines that you've took in that game, like Angel of the Lording your stuff, like Three Woesing your own
Yeah,
Resurrection Revealer. That was pretty inspiring, honestly.
appreciate that. Thank you. It was definitely fun.
After that, so any changes to newspaper here after this last game?
Well, that's one of the things I always think about. Like, is a mistake my deck or is a mistake my play? And if I had to chalk it up, I'd say mostly my play. I have been thinking about switching Book of the Covenant out for stocks because that gives me a really good way to mess with some problem characters and gives me
Yeah.
extra meek souls to play with on my side. And I've also been thinking about moving into a heavy Pharisees defense because with some of the cards that have come out and some of the spoilers, we expect to see potentially less Matthew. And because of that, you're like, do I need Herdsman or Agur anymore if there's going to be less Matthew going around? I mean, the Philistine combo is nice, but there's that.
Yeah.
And I don't. Where did my Priest of Zeus go last game? Was it the last card left in my deck? It's always nice to have Priest of Zeus. But Priest of Zeus never showed up that game,
I
unless
thought he was in your opener. Am I crazy?
was Priest of Zeus in my opener.
I don't know. Let me just rewatch that really fast. Maybe I'm thinking about a different game. No, he wasn't in your opener. I'm sorry to gaslight everybody.
Yeah, but he didn't draw that much either. So
You had one card left in your deck.
Yeah, it might have been Priest of Zeus there.
Priest of Zeus.
And that's one of the reasons I like doing Black and Gray, because that guy is really effective at like slowing them down, making them thinking about drawing their cards.
I have another territory class gray card that I've been loving, the False Leaders. That card is
leaders. Yeah,
it's really skill intensive, especially if you play False Dreams. Creates some really interesting things.
He takes up a lot of reserve slots, and I'm using a lot of cards. Like Philistine Armor Bearer takes up 2 reserve slots if you're using Goliath in reserve.
Well, like if you're cutting your black and your Book of the Covenant, that's probably going to free up some slots.
Yeah. The reason I'd go a little bit higher on Pharisees and Sadducees is the High Priest Palace, which is an add to battle. Obviously, it's very
Really?
negatable. It's very like
Priest
you can deal
Palace.
with it pretty easily. But if
Is that?
you're huh?
I gotta read what this card does.
Yeah, if your last, I think it's if a Sadducee is defeated, or if your last character is defeated, you can bring a Sadducee or Pharisee. But it's an extend the battle for Pharisees and Sadducees.
Dang, I should put this.
So,
Wait a second. Okay, interesting.
and
Okay.
stocks would also mean that I could bring in Brood of Vipers more consistently, because you really don't want that guy to be negatable, because they can negate back a 12/12 into battle and get rid of your good character,
Get
good card.
initiative.
Yeah. But if you CBN, that guy's really good.
Also, a card I've been loving, Damascus. The site is really good
Yeah,
with
that is really cool.
bonds. And
And you can go with
Nicodemus.
this card too,
Yeah.
which is really nice.
It's like
Unfortunately, the
Patmos,
play
but for
though.
your Pharisees.
Yeah, I wish it went to hand instead of play. That's kind of annoying. So
Temple Bell,
it's still
bounce him.
really good. Exactly. That's
All
really
right.
good.
I'm going to let you go have some sleep.
Yeah.
But thanks for recording. We'll see you around next time.
Thank you for having me. See ya.